Well, we're off. Got my rod set up. Dropping the waders is way too hot to have waders today. It's boiling. It's got to be 24 and it's about 30 in the sun. It's boiling, so I'm going to walk very slowly. And a long walk again to the fishing spot. It's late start, 5 o'clock, 5 to 5. Slept all day, which is just as well because it was too hot to be fishing in the middle of the day. Really. I'm glad I'm not in a tent right now. Actually, it's much cooler in the cabin. So anyway, the torture begins. It's still a heavy pack, even though I've just got the fishing gear in there. Anyway, well, I'm at the turnoff. A lot of traffic. Raspberries, look. It's a long hike. A little too long in this heat. It'd be fine if it wasn't so hot, but it's really boiling. So this is really taking it out of me. Plus I had a big night last night. So won't be a very long fishing trip, I don't think. I go there, check it out, make a few casts, and then head home and then go to bed early. I think. Kind of flies everywhere. Kind of a waste. Anyway. Where's the sheet of honor? I don't know my shoe. Anyway, damn. Distances are a real problem in this place. I forgot about that. I was fitter and younger and could hike further back then. This is a real issue. Good raspberries though, everywhere. Anyway, well, I'll give you a squiz of the river. There it is. It's inviting for a dip right now. At least I'm in the shade. For now, anyway. The sun was a bit too much. That's a bit violent for fishing. Maybe I should have brought the life vest after all, you know. Or the waders, or both. But it's too much to carry. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe it's just an exploration day. Well, it's pretty spectacular. Have a look at that. Something else and some sheep up there. Quite the mountains. Oh, I'm already tired. I should have maybe had a break day. I did a lot yesterday with all the traveling and then the trip to the shops, and then stayed up too late. So I probably should have just had a break day, but it's gonna thunder and lightning tomorrow. Well, I think I'm at the turnoff. I'm really not sure. This creek though. There's a creek on the map and a gate. So doesn't look very good there though. I mean, very rough. Should have brought a life jacket. So I don't know if this is such a good spot after all. But I mean, it's quite a hike. It's as bad or worse than Pristine or the other one. The other spot is a bit easier. It's flat at least. But at least I'm not going for another hour. So I mean, I think this is it. So I'm sure it's the only creek for a ways away here. So, and there is a gate. So I'm gonna head down and see what it's like. I hope I don't get shot for trespassing or something. Well, this is definitely it, because there's a sign, fishing sign. It doesn't say Sauria, but it gives the fishing rules, so that's what they mean by a bielde, whatever that is in Song dialect. It's a great spot. Totally worth it. So, come back tomorrow, for sure. And it wasn't that far, it was far, and there's a big hill, but it's not too bad. So, I mean, I'll give you a squiz. How about that? This whole stretch here. And a little bit further too, I think. There's the fishing sign. So that's the bielde. I found it. It was not so easy to find after all. It was tricky. Even though the map is not terrible, but it's not totally accurate. The creek is the thing that gave it away, the presence of the creek. So I guess I get some mosey on down there. And then a bit hot for waders. I don't really think I need them unless I get a fish, in which case I'm gonna have wet feet. Pretty sure. I don't see. Should just be able to see if there are any fish there though. Anyway. Well, I've got plenty of battery on the GoPro. I didn't bring the big camera. Wasn't sure how far it was going to be. It was quite far. I can do that tomorrow, maybe. But what a nice spot. Perfect. Perfect spot. Just look at that. Pretty deep. You could drown there. So, don't want to go in. No going in. I think it's pretty safe here though. You'd be swept right down to the rapids. That would be pretty bad actually. Anyway, this looks pretty safe though. So I get at least a couple hours fishing. Whoops. Couple hours fishing. Then bed early bedtime I think. Maybe no beer. I'm gonna end up taking home beer at this rate. I brought too much beer. Well, I had a bus and I thought, well, I can always leave some. I'm not taking it back to Bergen. Too much food as well, probably, for 5 days. But we'll see. Can take some pasta back. I'm not carrying the beer down that road. I may even cab it to the Aurland, the main center of town, because that was a nightmare, and I'm going to be carrying some food back with me, which is not cool. Anyway, well, my casting sucks. I'm way out of practice. I think I'm going to go explore and just see how far this beat actually goes. Just curious. I need a break from fishing. I'm gonna have to film some fishing action, even if it's terrible. So it's quite a mountain up there. A lot of flies though. I mean, this is cow country, so to be expected. It's a great spot though. I mean, you can't complain about that. It's a great stretch of river. So let's explore, see just how far this fishing beat extends. There'll be another sign saying Bielde or something. This must be the goat trail. The sheep trail, a lot of sheep around here. Okay, that's it then. So then if someone else's beat starts up here. It's not a very long stretch of river. So here's Bielde. Alright. And someone else gets that stretch. Well, it's just a few hundred meters then. Kind of suspected it might be small. So I don't know how long I'm going to bother. This is pretty tiresome and I'm tired. It's a long walk home though. I did travel all the way out here and spend a lot of money to fish this though, so I should fish a bit longer. It's now 6:35, nearly 6:40. Doesn't get dark until about 11. I don't know about night fishing this though, because that seems pretty dodgy. You really don't want to go in this river. It's just got quite a current and it's quite deep. I save night fishing for the second fishing spot, Restaina. Not as far to walk either. This is really quite a trek to get here. Anyway. Alright, film some fishing action. That's Australia conditions nearly. Little bush flies. Wow. 4 minutes too much of bad casting. Well, a nice spot though, and I'm more or less recovered now from the hike and the last night. So should probably change flies, and then I don't know how long I can be. So fishless, not a single bite. I think I've fished this out now, so I mean, no point. Tried 3 different flies. Trouble casting the big rod. It's too heavy for me now. The little one works fine though. It's a great spot. You can see the river behind me. It's super. But there has to be fish. Now I've got a long hike back now, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. I'm going to time it. So I'll leave at 25 past and then see when I get back. Then I'm back here again tomorrow because this is what I got. So fortunately all the spots I got were a long way from the cabin. Most people drive, of course. So anyway, let's get moving. So the rods, no fish on them today. Whoops. Uh-oh. Right, try that again. So, got a bit of a hill and then it's all downhill the whole way back. There was a monster hill going up though in the heat, and that really sucked. It's much nicer now in the evening when the sun disappears in the shade. Now it's decent. That was too hot. Tomorrow is going to be 27. So well, pretty wildflowers. So Bjelde is where my stretch begins, to the fence over there. Not very far. I actually fished someone else's stretch for a bit. Anyway, 350 kroners down the Glugger. Could have stayed in the apartment, sitting in the sun, drinking beer. Anyway, it is what it is. Oh, now I've got a big hill. That's why there's so many flies. Or carbon, or sheep bone, or whatever it is. That's not so good. No, don't need the waders. Saves carrying a lot in the heat. So I think this is about the right time to fish. I'll come back at the same time tomorrow when it's not so quite so boiling hot, because I get a long sleep in until midday. Maybe too hot for the ocean trout. The water level's high enough though. There's plenty of water there. We have a grind, we have a gate. Needs to be shut. Bridge. course. Anyway, make sure this is shut so the cows don't escape. Whatever they are, sheep. Anyway. Now this left at 25 past, so remember that. I think it's 40 minutes back. I had a fishless feeling tonight. We're approaching this old factory. Not sure whether it was a hydroelectric or some kind of power plant. Strange, in the middle of nowhere. Up ahead. Look at these mountains though. Some big mountains here. That's bigger than the Madigan Mountains. They go up to from 0 to about 1,300 meters. That's pretty big for Norwegian standards. Maybe not Himalayas, Papa, but pretty big. So I'm guessing it's a 50-minute hike, more or less. I'm glad I didn't have to go all the way up the hill and all the way over towards the lake though, so that's a relief, because I have to do this again tomorrow anyway. But I don't need the waders, and I just need a bag of tackle and the net and some water. So it's a light backpack, makes a big difference. I'll need the waders later on in the week when it starts pouring rain. And for Prestone I think I need the waders. Don't have to strictly have the waders, but I think it makes things easier. It's a lot of bushes, you have to walk out into the stream a bit. So we'll see. Strange. Whatever this factory thing is. Lots of wood cables and wires. Electricity wires, I think. Aurland Skaim. Power company. Anyway, all right. So at the crossroads just about, and the lake, there's a good view of the mountains up ahead. The lake is right towards the end of the valley. Quite a big lake. And then you got these huge mountains. A big waterfall over there. So anyway, now I have quite a long boring stretch along the road, quite a ways. It's at least a couple kilometers. Lots of raspberries along the way to keep you juiced up though. Big ones too. Very tasty. Surprising amount of traffic for being in the back country here. Look at that mountain. So Tero. Got this long bend to do, and then a long straight stretch. Oh, look at all these raspberries. Loads and loads of them. Like weeds. Every few minutes, close. Motorbikes. the river coming up. Look at all these raspberries. So many. This guy's self-supplied with raspberries. Wild ones. Lots and lots. I've got a whole punnet of raspberries to eat, and cherries and strawberries when I get back. Some serious cliffs. Alright. I'll just keep you going till we get to the river and then turn you off. It's not that interesting, me walking along the road. It's minute by minute, the Aurland expedition. I like that cool. So there's someone's built a thing for fishing off. Stand on that, a bit dodgy. And you can cross all the way over to that little island in the middle and fish there. That's quite a construction actually. That's quite something. Someone put a lot of work into that. Yeah. Very pretty. Don't want to go in there though. Some serious white water. There's no way you could keep your footing in that. So that's pretty serious. There you want. If you're fishing here, I think you want a life jacket. You don't want to go in. Definitely not. It'd be bad. It's a nice sunset. Take the bus up tomorrow. Tempting. Stay a bit longer tomorrow though. Maybe I go earlier or stay later. Come back later in the evening, do some evening fishing. But I mean, I fished that pretty thoroughly for 2 hours, or an hour and a half, and a zip. So I don't know if there's much point fishing much longer than that. Got a fly on the GoPro. A lot of flies up there. A lot of flies everywhere here right now. Get off there, fly. Ah. Lots and lots of flies. Damn it, there's too many. And it followed me. I like bush flies, they're pretty annoying. Jesus Christ. Yeah. They're pretty bad. Well, we're there. It's not far at all after all. Actually, that's perfectly doable. So I'll show you. Home. Made it. Well, I made it back, and that took 2 minutes. 25 past. Took exactly 40 minutes, so it wasn't that far after all. Not that far. It's doable. So that's fine. And I was worried about that going there. I didn't know how far it would be. But yeah, I can relax. I have to put the rods away. Can't leave them outside if there's a lot of people around. So they have to be disassembled. And then better luck tomorrow. spend more than 2 hours or an hour and a half tomorrow, I think. Maybe I was only an hour and a half, but I didn't really feel, I wasn't really up for it. So I'll spend a bit, take a few brews and a sandwich and spend all day there. Although all day fishing that one little short stretch, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Oh, there we go. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So, oh wow. ISO 3200, that's pretty high. So, this is the second day. Most of it's on the GoPro, I didn't bring the big camera. So, well, I only fished for 2 hours and 45-minute hike up and 40-minute hike down. Big hill to go up, which is a kind of a pain, but it's not that far from the cabin, which is alright. And then I'll bring the big camera, I think, tomorrow and make a longer day of it. I was only gone less than 4 hours today, with 3 hours really. An hour and a half fishing and an hour and a half hiking. I'll make a longer day and go more slowly and take some footage on the big camera, and I'll bring the tripod to get some slow motion fly fishing action. That's the plan anyway. So I mean, we'll see how that goes, but this is end day 2, Aurland adventure. It's Friday, and then tomorrow's going to be hot again. So not bringing any waders, but this adds 3 kilos bringing the camera and the tripod. So I might bring a few beers to keep me fishing longer. And then I'm not very hopeful about getting fish though. I think this is difficult, and you probably have to do nighttime fishing. So I mean, we'll see. Anyway, the big camera is better in low light, so I mean, I can stay until later in the evening, although it really doesn't get dark until 11:30. But at least if it does get dark and I catch a fish, I can actually film it. Anyway, so whoops. So as you can see, just chilling with the beer. 22 minutes on this card, and then another 30 minutes on the next card, so I don't have that much in the way of card space. I should have bought some bigger cards.